my name is Jenna and welcome to Bookmas Day 4. Today's topic is the top 8 own books you want to read in 2021. As always, I have very ambitious TBR goals in the new year, and pretty much I just want to get my physical TBR down as much as possible, and that means reading as many of my currently owned books as I possibly can. But before we get into all of that, if you don't know what Bookmas is, Bookmas was created by HAILEY from the channel HAILEY and BOOKLAND maybe 5, possibly even 6 years ago, and it is basically just a way to wrap up the year and to celebrate Christmas. This year HAILEY is doing 31 videos, and like yeesh, that is a commitment. I however will only be doing 6, and they will just be mini wrap-ups, and today's of course is talking about the owned books that I want to read in the new year. So we're just gonna get started. So coming in at number 8 we have the Bane Chronicles by Cassandra, Clare and a bunch of other lovely authors. This is a bind-up of 10 short stories, I think, all based around Magnus Bane, a character from the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I love Magnus, I love the Shadowhunter series, and I have not read this book. I have put this one on so many different TBRs. I started it and then just never continued with it, so I am determined to read it in 2021. It is absolutely going to happen. I will read the Bane Chronicles in 2021. It just absolutely is going to happen because I am so far behind on the Shadowhunter series, and like this is the next book that I have to read. Coming in at number 7 we actually have 2 books. They are part of the same series, and that is Hollow City and Library of Souls, both by Ransom. This is books 2 and 3 in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. I picked up Miss Peregrine's back whenever the film came out, which is probably 2018, I want to say, maybe even 2017, and I picked the book up then. I really loved the first one, and I just never continued with the sequels, and that's horrible, and I really want to change that this year. If you don't know, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is about this boy who finds I think it's an island that's trapped in time, and there's just a lot of peculiar children on it, which they have mystical powers, and he's trying to figure out how he can see them and how he knows them, and lots of different things are happening, and there are these things after them, and truth be told, it's been a while since I read it, and I'm sort of just thinking about the film because I probably saw that recently. But the books are really cool. They've got lots of awesome creepy images in them, kind of like this one, but that one's actually not that creepy. So can we find something creepier like that, for example? Who sleeps with a skeleton? It's a weird time. Coming in at number 6 we actually have a series almost as a whole, and that is the Supernatural Sisters series by Maria Lewis. These are the current books that I own that I haven't read. I have read Who's Afraid and I have read It Came from the Deep, and I don't own the newest book that just came out, Who's Still Afraid, and I think there's another book maybe that I also don't own, which is terrible of me. Basically, these books follow lots of different powerful women who have varying degrees of supernaturalness about them, and they're freaking amazing. Maria Lewis is incredible. The books I have here, I have Who's Afraid 2, The Witch Who Courted Death, and The Wailing Woman, all of which I have heard are incredible books, and I'm so excited to read them. I haven't read them yet, which is, you know, the theme of my life. Coming in at number 5, we have, you guessed it, another 2-parter because book series, and that is the Vanishing, Stair and the Hand on the Wall, both by Maureen. These are books 2 and 3 in the Truly Devious series. If you don't know, Truly Devious follows a girl named Stevie. She attends a prestigious boarding school, and many years ago at this school there was either a murder or a kidnapping which was never solved, and the only clue they had was a note signed Truly Devious. Stevie is now at the school trying to solve the cold case while also dealing with some creepy stuff going on of her own. The first book was incredible and I loved it to pieces, and I haven't continued with the series. There is a 4th book coming out in 2021, so I'd really like to catch up, and I've heard amazing things. I'm really on a thriller kick at the moment, so maybe this will finally be the time where I just hurry up and do it. Coming in at number 4 is, well, you guessed it, another 2-parter because all I do is want to read series, and that is Gemina and Obsidio, both by Amie, Kaufman and Kristoff. This is books 2 and 3 in the Illuminae Chronicles? Illuminae series? I think it's just the Illuminae series. The Illuminae Files says it right here. Illuminae Files. These are kind of cool in that they are all following a different set of characters, although I believe all of the characters show up in this last book, and it's kind of creepy and weird, and I don't remember anything from the first. If I'm being real, I'll probably have to read the first book all over again. It's told in a really cool format, so it's not told in a linear format. It is told in lots of, I mean, this is literally just a page of photos. So it's told over IMs, emails, security footage, that kind of thing. It's really unique, and it's something I know everyone is obsessed with, so I finally want to finish it so I can see what all the hype is about. I really loved Illuminae. So I'm hoping I love these ones too. Coming in at number 3 is, again, a book that's part of a series, but it is only one book, and that is Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian by Riordan. This is the last book I have to read before I finish the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, so really I just need to hurry up and get through it. So I really want to read this book this year. If you don't know, Percy Jackson is a boy who in the first book discovers he is a half-blood, attends Camp Half-Blood, and then has to try to save the world, because that's how these books always go. By the time I get to this book, I'm relatively lost by what's going on by this point. I assume we're going to New York based on Lady Liberty being on the front cover, and I believe there's a prophecy that Percy is a part of, and Kronos is probably coming because it's the last book, and like, it sounds like a fun time, but I haven't been loving the Percy Jackson series as much as I thought that I would. I think that I sort of missed the boat with this one, and now I'm a little too old to properly enjoy it. I'm finding the series to be kind of juvenile and really, really formulaic, but I am hoping that this one blows everything out of the water and I just end up loving it. Coming in at number 2, we have a chunker of a book, and that is Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. This book is Twilight, but from Edward's point of view, or, you know, he had many things. He can read other people's thoughts, but if this is honestly just a book of other people being like, other people suck, then I don't really know if I want to read it. I have had quite a few people read this one this year, and they have said that they've absolutely loved going back into their Twilight phase. It is something that I must admit, I was never 100% totally committed to Twilight, but I did enjoy the books when I read them, and I enjoyed the movies when they were coming out, and now it's just one of those fun nostalgia things for me. I just wasn't expecting Midnight Sun to be quite as big as it is, and it did kind of turn me off a little bit, but I am determined to read this one. I'm thinking that I might do a bit of a Twilight rewatch as well, because I think that will be a lot of fun, and I want to dive in. Even though it's such a big book, I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be really, really easy to read, simply because it's Twilight, and Twilight are not hard books. So I think this one is, despite the size, going to be relatively easy to get through. And then coming in at number 1, the number 1 owned book that I want to read in 2021 is, again, 2 books, and that is Ironheart and Misrule by Jodi McAlister, books 2 and 3 in the Valentine trilogy. I read Valentine for the first time this year, and I freaking fell in love with it. It was such a phenomenal book. The series centers around this girl named Pearl. She shares a birthday with 3 other people, all of whom were born on Valentine's Day, and one of them is the Valentine, which is a fairy changeling. These fairies are not the nicest fairies, however, they are dark murder fairies, which honestly in my book makes them a plus. These murder fairies are out to reclaim what's theirs, and they will do so by any means necessary. The book is incredibly Australian, it's so much fun, and I freaking loved everything about it, and I am desperate to read books 2 and 3. And there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below, what are some of the books on your physical TBR that you are desperate to get through in 2021? I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.